Zoom. So, those of you who are joining us in Zoom, you're very, very welcome. Come on in. I know a little bit ahead of time, so I could try and do an dance, an Irish dance like jig, but maybe not. Maybe that would be the right thing to do. So, what we're going to do tonight is, well, it's tonight here in Dublin, so it's a minute to 6 p.m. So, I like to start on time, a bit earlier, let give people a chance to join us, but they may not be joining us till it's o'clock, so it's a wee supple. Is it water against? No. So, just to talk about tonight, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through a process that I know, if you implement, will absolutely bounce you out of this recession quicker. Now, don't be put off, because some of you may not have some of the tools we talk about, but that's not a problem because we know better time to start with than now. So let's get started. So let me just share my screen. And okay. So see my PowerPoint now, and I'll play start, and hopefully all the technology fits together and we'll be all okay. Come on, screen. There we go. So hopefully you can see now my bounce out of this session faster slide. So just to give a little bit of background. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ronan Ryle. I'm the President of Client Success and CEO of the Infinity Group, which includes 3XM Solution, includes Business Success Academy, and for those of you who are doing our brand photo value. So I've always believed in lifelong learning. So I constantly try and do things with you. So I've done the masters, I've got diplomas, all that sort of stuff. And last year I became a certified storybound guide because marketing is my first love. And I'm also a Profit Plus professional coach. So some of the insights there will come from not just my 30 plus years experience in business, not just my experience of failing in business in our last recession in 2008 when I had a company with 50 people in it and had tried it out with our pants down and the business went bust. So I have a lot of experience of both success and failure. That's from my failure I have learned most. And all of that learning combined with that experience, combined with all the learning I've done, has helped to help me come up with some of these concepts and to take some other people's concepts and amend them slightly for our industry. That's what we're going to go through today. Okay, so I came up with the 3 OR circles of bouncing back quicker. Let's just talk about these just briefly. So for me, there's 3 things that will help us bounce back quicker. The first is you've got to have a plan. But a lot of us don't like planning because it's, oh no, if I have to write things down, translate the figures and all that stuff. And the answer is yes, you do. However, don't panic. I have created a system and a tool to help you do that really, really quick. Okay. So the other second element then is a database. So if you have a database, and the companies that have a database will bounce out of this quicker. Why? Because you will be able to contact past clients and put your offer in front of them. And then the third thing that will help you bounce back quicker is if you use online marketing funnels. Because that can help not just with existing clients, but can also help with bringing some new clients. Okay. So existing clients bring new clients back, existing clients back, and develop new clients. So there are the 3 OR circles of bouncing back quicker. So we're going to delve into that today. I'm not going to cover off all of this today, but I'm going to give you a flavor, and where I really want to start with is I'll be starting with numbers. If you do this, you will bounce back quicker. Okay. So those of you who see me before know that I talk about the business plan being like the recipe for food. There's some essential ingredients you need, and with this then the bounce out of recession is essential ingredients first. And I mentioned already that the first one of those is the plan. So let's just talk about the plan. If you think of the business plan as the recipe for your success, you've got to have the right ingredients in the right proportions, and you've got to follow a process of implementation to make it happen. And I have been in the position where I've had to create business plans for my bank to get a loan. I've had to create plans for venture capitalists. And they end up this thing, right? And it fulfills that function, and then you never ever see them again. Okay? You never use it again because it's not usable, it's not friendly. So the two-page business success plan was invented by Traction. And I've just taken the two-page success plan and I've modified it a little bit to make it more specific to our industry and also more specific to what we use with our thoughts around how you position your brand, about your market strategy and all that. And today we're going to talk a little bit about that marketing strategy using online funnels and stuff. More importantly, we're going to go back a step and we're going to talk about the numbers. Why are we going to talk about the numbers? The numbers are really, really important because the numbers will dictate what you actually have to do to drive your business. And if you're like us, we've been closed now for most of March, April. It looks like we're going to be closed down in May. So we have 3 months revenue to make up. So part of this process is sales. What do I need to do now to make up that 3 months revenue? Let me move on. So if you've seen me before, you've probably seen my 3D circle of continuous business success, which leads into the planning process, which is that there's a discovery stage, there's a decide stage, and more importantly, I love you want you to do it stage. You've got to go and do it, you've got to implement, you've got to put the pedal to the metal and get moving. And the discover and decide stage involves some research. So that's some research what you're going to do. The actual plan then is between the decide and the do it, and they overlap there. And then quantifying is really important. You've got to quantify these things without whether you're successful. I know as creatives that you go, more numbers, not more numbers, but you know what? Everything comes into a number. Even the art of creating is digitized into a series of zeros and ones. So unfortunately, I know we're right brain people and we don't like to think more left brain. Have to. If you're going to bounce out of this recession, you've got to spend some time with the numbers. I'm a creative too, and my job involves doing both. Because I have a commercial responsibility in our business, and I have a creative responsibility to work on the vision and the marketing and where we're going into business. And I love that side of it. And I don't like the quantum side much, but I have to force myself to do it. Because doing just one of them isn't going to make it. Okay, so let's move on. So here's the two-page business success plan. It breaks down into some areas. I'm not going to go through all this tonight because there's a couple of weeks and just this alone. So working out our 10-year plan for our business, our values, our personal values, what your business values, our market strategy for the 3-year position statement. We're not going to work on that tonight. Instead, we're going to go straight to the technical. Why? Because we've got to take action now. We've got to know what action we're going to take. So I'm going to concentrate on this top piece, which is dealing with revenue and profit and owner's pay and OPEX and all that. I know it sounds horrible, but I made it as simple as possible. I have a tool to help you with this. Okay. So to bake this perfect cake, according to the perfect recipe, what essential tool would I need? And I ask this question all the time when I get a question. Eventually somebody normally says, what you need is a weighing scale. And the weighing scale is to bake you that your financial system is creating success of business. There's other people in the think tanks who talk about it. Marcus Taylor, who's a fellow professional coach, and we've talked about, that's the savior for our business right now. Because we've learned these things and we've implemented these systems, we're able to ride out this storm. And in 2008, when my business went bust, I wasn't able. We didn't have those financial reserves to it, but I learned that lesson and I did it down. And if you're in that position that I was in 2009, learn from it and implement this now, because there's always going to be something. There's always going to be some disaster somewhere that leads to this. I'm just going to check my phone, so I'm on my own, I have no tech team. And the reason why I am, in case you guys aren't seeing my screen, no, that's okay. Okay, no, you're saying I just want to double check, sorry for that. Okay. So what's next? So profit first. Let's just talk about why it works. The first is human behavior. So profit first is based around human behavior. Second thing is it uses bank balance accounting. So if you're like me, you probably, when you're considering buying something, so let's just put this in context. So I'm walking around the trade show. Oh, those days will be back someday. I know they're going to soon. But you're walking around the trade show and you see and you like and you rent and you come with them. You go, oh, I want them. But you promise your partner you're not going to spend any money. Yeah? But what you do is you go, great deal. They're not going to have this deal again. Then we just check my bank. And we check our bank balance and the money's there, and we go, oh, the money's there. Expenditure. That's what we make for the grant. You spend the money, yeah? And that's bank balance accounting. A lot of us do it as small business owners. We run our cash flows and our financials based on our bank statement. And profit first is designed to deal with that and put a system in place that you're not tempted to spend money that you shouldn't spend money. And the third piece is Parkinson's law. And Parkinson's law is very simple. Parkinson's law is the principle that if it's there, you're concerned. It's as simple as that, and that's human nature. So, like just the money being in the bank balance, if it's there, we spend it. And if you're like me, I've always been like that. Like, the money's there. And my mother used to tell a funny story. She said, I have 3 other siblings. And she said, Ronan was one of the best siblings. The money that we get, that we got pocket money, in Ireland, we have some you get your personal communion, often they use some money. And she said the money wouldn't be in his pocket, but it would be put on the home. So if you're like me, profit first is even more relevant. Okay. So Parkinson's law, let me just share a little story about how I supplemented Parkinson's law. So in the past, I've explained that the money going in my pocket, but the best way I describe it is I love banking, especially chocolate. And I have a tennis partner that I played tennis with together for 20 years, and his partner Sandra makes more than to chocolate. So I'm always starting new diets. For the last 20 years, I've always tried to lose weight. This time, when I started this family, I'm actually on target because I have put a plan. Back to that in a second. So just tell you a story. So last year I started a diet and I went over to see Gary, standard pieces of beautiful cake, and I made up my mind, not having it, and having it. And then I went, you know what? Gary is just, I kind of want him another time. I thought, Ronan, heard this before, here we go again. So you know what I'll do? I cut a small little slice of the cake, and then I'd say, no, I did not actually have my dinner. Thank you so much, Sandy, your cake is wonderful. So I put a little slice, and I eat it, start talking about tennis and politics. All this stuff that we debate, and we're actually on the political side as well. So we're great fun, great fun. And 2 hours passed, and I looked down, and guess what? 3/4 of the cake is gone. And guess what? I eat all very much. So that's Parkinson's law. And it's the principle that if it's there, you consume it. Well, if Sandra just cut me with the slice and left me with the slice, would have ate that, and I would have been happy as well. So that's Parkinson's law. Okay, so the profit first financial system, we don't have time to go through all the details of this, but I just want to explain the core principle so that when we go then to use the calculator, we know what this means. So profit first works in the principle that, first of all, you take your profit first, and we get down in the second, right? The second is owners pay. So this is the piece that a lot of business owners don't respect them. So when I ask a business owner, who's the most important person in your business? Because other people in the business, they often say, oh, it's my retoucher, Mary, or it's my chief photographer, Dan, or it's my accountant, or it's my salesperson, or whatever it is. Yeah? But really, nobody works longer, harder than you, as the owner. And quite often, we're the ones who sacrifice ourselves for them. So profit first ensures that you always pay the owner after you've taken their profit. We've also, as profit first professionals now, there's 460 of us roughly throughout the world, and that has allowed us to analyze thousands and thousands of companies. And what we discovered is that companies of certain sizes, depending on your size, that all these categories relate to a best practice percentage of the company. So most businesses who are probably online now, you have revenues probably less than around $300,000 or thereabouts. So if that's your case, that's the numbers I'm based on. But I then turned this on its head and I said, right, so let's say we're planning out this recession. And I calculate, you know what? I have to pay myself 5, 10, 15, 20, 100. The number doesn't matter. Okay? Over the next 5 months. So we're not going to do a year's plan now. We're going to do, what do I need to do over the next number of months to recover what I've lost? And let's start with that. What do I need to put in my pocket? So this number can be anything. Don't get hung up on the number. I want you just to tell you about principle. So if that number happens to be 50,000, I've only chosen 50,000 that makes the maths funny. As we work through this process. Right brain. All right brain. So owners pay, if it's 50,000, best practice tells us that if that's 50%, that 50% number, our real revenue has to be 100,000. But don't get hung up on real revenue, just bear with me, I'll explain that. And our profit, we should be looking to make 5,000, which is 5% of real revenue. And if we put 15% of real revenue away, we will have enough money at the end of the year to pay our tax bill. And based on a business with real revenue of 100,000, total operational expenses of our business should be no more than 50,000. What are operational expenses? For everything else, every other expense you have in the business, outside your profit, that you're going to pay yourself and always pay it. Now, we're working backwards from always pay. So I worked out then what you do next, you would say, how many sessions do I plan to do in this time frame that result in a sale? So they're sales sessions. So again, we're working backwards. They're not in the diaries, they're sales sessions. So I said, in this time, I want to do 100 sessions that result in a sale. So what does that mean? So it means then, if my average cost of goods, so I look back and say my average cost of goods per session is normally 350. So if I'm going to do 100 sessions, then my cost of goods, i.e. my lab bill, and everything else I buy to sell to the client is going to be 35,000. Okay, so my average is 350 by 100 is 35,000. Which means my total sales need to be 135,000. So what these numbers are telling me, that if I do 100 sessions, yeah, and my sales are going to have to be 135,000, with cost of goods of 35,000, giving a real revenue of 100,000, a profit of 5,000, put 50,000 in my pocket, pay my tax bill of 15,000, and I'm going to run that business with OpEx of 30,000. And that means that my average sales value needs to be 1,250. Where did I get that number from? I took the number of sessions that are going to result in a sale, and I took my total sales and my total revenue, and divided it to get 135. So why is that number relevant? But as part of the plan, that number now tells me that I have to build my sales system, build my value set to deliver an average sale across those 100 sessions of 1,250 to make these numbers happen. Okay. So let's go do that now for you. And when we do, I'm going to give you a tool to help you with that. You're going to be able to then come back here and you're going to be able to fill it in on your 2 pages of success plan. And I'm going to give you access to it well. End this just for a second. Come on, computer, bring me back. Hello, guys, I'm back with you. Come on, computer, I can see. I think my computer is dying from all this activity. Okay, so let's just go back here now for a second. And I can stop the share, and hopefully you've got me back now. Okay, we have a chat, so I'm going to answer the questions before we go to the tool. Okay, let's just see what people are asking. I can hear you, but the quality of the audio is awful. Oh, I apologize. Is everyone, Ronan's audio bad when you show on the slideshow page? I can't understand about half the words you're saying. I, Ronan, a lot of words are garbage. I apologize, and I wonder how can I fix that. And same here, the audio sounds very funny. Okay. I apologize. I wish I saw your comments a little earlier. Maybe should I plug these in and see if these get better? Let's try that. If you bear with me for 2 seconds. Let's try that. I'm going to disconnect my AirPods. Plug that in.
Can someone tell me if that's better? Somebody just say something in the comments. Much better. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so we're back on track. I'm not going to go back over everything. I apologize for that. I should have seen that a little bit earlier. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so let's go straight to the tool now. So I'm going to show you where we're going to do the tool, that you don't have to worry about making all these calculations, that will actually make them for you. This tool will. Okay, so where am I going? Where's Chrome? Hello. Chrome, there we go. Okay, and let's go to here. So I want to show you how to get there. So what you're going to do is you're going to put in, you don't have to do it now, but later on, you're going to put in 3xmsolution.com/Ronan, and I'll share that link in here and I'll bring you to this page. If you're not already registered on the 3XM website, you'll need to do that. And here is the 2-page business success plan that I showed you in the slides, so you can download that later. But I'm going to go now to the business calculator. Okay. So we've tried to make this really, really easy. Okay. So in the example I gave you, do you remember? I said, what do you want your annual take-home page to be? And I put in 50,000. This can be any number you want. So I'm going to change this just to 20,000. Yeah. Because I'm going to work on the basis that it's 20,000 for now. How many individual sales do you want to do in the next year? We're changing this. Yeah, this was normally done for a yearly plan. So what are you going to do? What do you want to do? Not for the full year, but to get out of this. Yeah. So let's say I'm going to do over the next couple of months before the end of the year, I'm planning that I hope that I'm going to do 30 of them. Yeah. What's your average cost of goods? Do you remember what that was? So your average cost of goods is, for every sale you have, how much money are you spending on product? So your wall art, your folio box from 3XM, your album, whatever that is. Yeah. And we put that in there. There's little I buttons here that explain what they are too. Then I click next. And what this then is telling me, it's doing the calculation for me, that if I want to pay myself 20,000 net and end up with 2,000 in my profit account, 6,000 in my taxation account, and 12,000 in my OPEX, I need to have total revenue of 50,500. My cost of goods, my lab bill is going to be 10.5, and my average sales value is going to be 1,683. That's what I need to do those numbers. If you change any of those numbers, the calculations will change. So let's say this becomes 30, and this becomes, I'm going to do 50 shoots, and I hit next, it'll update all the numbers. Yeah, so on those numbers now, I need to do 77,500 revenue. My average sale has to be 1,550. But you see how important those figures can be now to help us to create our plan? Okay. So that's that piece. I'm going to come away from the calculator now and go back to the presentation. And this tool is available to you absolutely free. It's a wonderful tool. I absolutely love it. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to share the PowerPoint. So when I do those numbers, then we're able to come back here and we're able to transfer them in here. And forget this 1-year plan. This is now a get out of recession plan. Yeah. What are we going to do between now and the end of the year? Yeah. So we're going to be able to fill in the real revenue, the profit, the average number of shoots you're going to do, the average cost of goods, the owner's pay, the taxation, the OPEX, and you've all that information done. And the beauty about the 2-page business plan is you can print this out now and put it in front of your desk. So it's a daily reminder on what you have to do. So that'll give you the focus needed, because you're going to have to focus really, really hard coming out of this recession to bounce back quickly. And those who do this and plan and focus and implement this stuff are the ones who are going to bounce back quickest. Absolutely going to bounce back quickest. Okay. So what's next? So we got to add flavor now to your marketing plan. So we're back to baking the cake. Yeah. And the flavor for me is this is the only time I put the cart before the horse. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is we've identified by doing those numbers that we need to do whatever number of people's sessions that result in a sale, people who buy. So what I ask you to do is to consider this from the point of view that we're going to work backwards from that to figure out things. So let's say your sales process is you get an inquiry, you do a pre-shoot consultation that results in a shoot, that results in a viewing sales session, and people buy. So we know how many people are going to buy from the calculator, what we need to get. So then I ask you, so if you know how number are going to buy, how many sales sessions do you have end up with somebody buying? Of the people who do a viewing, how many shoots do you have to do to get that viewing? So if you're doing an instant viewing, for example, where you're doing a shoot and a viewing together, that number is going to be identical. Yeah. And then I ask you, so of all the pre-shoot consultations you do, how many of those result in a shoot? So you might say, well, I have to do 5 pre-shoot consultations to get 1 shoot. Yeah. And then prior to that, I asked then for how many inquiries or leads do you need to generate for each pre-shoot consultation. And what that allows us to do is it allows us to figure it out. So I've just done some numbers here. So based on the numbers, I've calculated that for 100 people to buy, I need to do 111 viewings, because out of every 100 people who buy, 11 don't. I'm doing, everyone that I do a shoot for comes back for a viewing, so those numbers are the same. Out of every shoot I do, I have to do pre-shoot 2 pre-shoot consultations. So if I do 2 pre-shoot consultations, I know that one of those people sign up to do a shoot. So that's 2, 2, 2. And then I've done the numbers based on that for every inquiry I generate, that 1 out of 5 end up doing a pre-shoot consultation. And again, don't worry about the numbers here, because we've a calculator to help you with those numbers. And you might say, well, I don't have all this data. I don't know what that is. Guess what it is. Your plan is not what it's going to end up exactly like. It's what you believe it to be. And I guarantee you, if you go through this process and try and work backwards, and you go, I think it's that, you'll be really, really close. If you're only starting out in business, it's a great place to start too, because then you have a plan and a target and you can measure what actually happens against that. Okay, so we calculated earlier on the numbers that we did that for owners pay of 50,000 with an average sales value of 1350, my marketing then, which is going to generate these inquiries, has to work to create 1,110 inquiries. So now for my plan, I now have some figures to follow through on that. I now have a target that to achieve this, I need to do that. So let's just go back to the calculator and show you where that numbers are done. So I'm going to stop the share there. I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to go straight back there and I'm here. So these are the numbers we put in earlier. So when I click the next button, it asks me these questions. So for every 10 viewings, I do how many result in a sale? And I'm going to say all of them, 10 out of 10. For every shoot you do, how many viewings do you do? So I'm going to say all of them. For every 10 pre-shoot consultations, how many result in a shoot? I'm going to say 5. And for every 1 pre-shoot consultation I do, how many inquiries do I need? And I'm going to go 5. Yeah. So that now, when I click next, tells me that in order to achieve the desired sales of 50, you need to generate 500 inquiries, with your order average value needing to be 1,550 to result in 77,500 worth of sales. And now the math is done by just answering some simple questions. And now I have a plan to move forward with. Okay, back to our presentation. And that tool is available to you absolutely free. Okay, so share screen and let's just go back to the presentation. Okay, here we go. So we've got our numbers, so then we're able to transfer them in here. And we're able to put the ratios in here so that as we go through, we can measure those through. Right, so do you remember when we were talking about the 3 circles, we talked about a database and we talked about if we have a database, we can market to new clients. And then we said also then when we do that first and we market to existing clients, then the other piece that we need to do is generate new clients. So a lot of photographers talk about when they generate new clients that Facebook ads are dead, that they don't work for them. And that is really based on the fact that, first of all, Facebook's not dead. So Facebook's not dead. So just to share some data with you. So the top marketeers in the world who buy media online spend a lot of money every single day on Facebook. And in Business Success Academy, one of those great media buyers is Jonathan, who just happens to be my son. I'm proud of him because he has another business where he spends more than $1,000 a day on Facebook, generating media and traffic to other companies' websites and funnels. And he only gets paid if the traffic he directs results in a sale for that client. And he has a really nice business based around that. So, and he and his network, he's in a mastermind group of 20 of these media buying online marketeers, and he's one of the smaller ones. He has one mentor in that group who's started as a mentor with him, and now they're working together, who does this and earns millions a year doing it. Jonathan isn't anywhere near that level, but what I'm trying to explain here is that this is possible. Then we also have Bradley Bulmer in Business Success Academy, who's a photographer based in the UK, and he fills 80% of his diary using online marketing. So if it doesn't work for you, it's just that the problem is that you're not using it properly. And there's certain rules in social media that you need to operate with. Okay. It's one of the most effective uses of generating leads than is out there other than word of mouth. Yeah. And it's also a wonderful way to build a brand. And there are normally two different objectives. So the objective we're going to concentrate here is lead generation on new business. But also, if we've got a database, how can we use online marketing to streamline the process of bringing them back in to the studio? Okay, so that's what we're going to concentrate on. And the answer is using a funnel. So just like the perfect cup of coffee, if you have a funnel, you can bring your clients through that funnel and that system, and you can automate it. Because I'm a big Mike Michalowicz fan. So Mike Michalowicz is developed Profit First, but he's developed a whole lot of other things. And he's developed things like Clockwork, which is about systemizing your business. He's developed Pumpkin Plan, identify an ideal client. He's an absolute genius. And why I say that is that you cannot be profitable in business unless you systemize it. And the best way to maximize the return on your marketing investment is to systemize it. And the best way to do that is with a marketing funnel. Okay. Why do marketing funnels work? So I started life selling 32 years ago. When I joined a family business, I was there 3 months. Our top sales guy left. My dad said to me, Ronan, there's a van, there's keys, you got on a 2-day sales course, go sell. And one of the key principles we were taught then was that of every person that is a possible client, no matter what you do, 50% will never buy. If you give it away for free, they still won't buy it. But 50% will buy. But not all of those who buy are ready to buy now. In fact, on all the data they've collected, only 15% will buy now. And this data was true then in face-to-face sales, and it's still true now in online marketing. All we've done is change the tool. We've just changed the marketing and sales tool from people to automate some of it using social media, because that's where people now are. The other 85% then who will buy at some stage, and they've measured that stage to be somewhere between 90 days and 2 years. So what we're trying to do when we come out of this recession is two objectives. One is to maximize our effect to get as many of this 15% to buy now, while at the same time working a system that we develop these 85% of people to buy at some stage as quickly as possible. So hopefully that makes sense. If I translate that back to you for the salespeople, when this was face-to-face selling all the time, the most effective salespeople were those that didn't give up, i.e. they kept calling over a period of time until they got in front of the client and that client was ready to buy. Yeah? Okay, so the principles are the same. So what is a marketing funnel? It really is just a series of Facebook ads. You might use lead magnets. You're bringing them to a landing page, which can be your website. So a landing page is just a fancy name for an offer, a specific offer that you bring your client to. So for example, those of you who've been on my website reviews, your website is a landing page. Yeah. And what a lot of photographers do sometimes is they drive traffic to their homepage that talks about stuff generally. So what I mean with that is you might be a photographer doing multi-genres. So you talk to the client about those, you put an ad in talking about weddings and you bring them to a page and the first image they see is a newborn picture. They're gone because you sparked their interest with weddings. So in the website reviews, which is the same as a landing page, you need to drive your marketing traffic to a page, whether that's your website or a specific landing page that talks just about that offer. Okay, and then it's a series of emails and Facebook retargeting to maximize that 15% up front. And how we do that is we have a funnel. So the Facebook ad brings them to the landing page, which might be a page on your website. And we normally offer them something of value like a lead magnet. So a guide to the 7 perfect poses to look great on your wedding day if you're a wedding photographer. They download that, and a lot of people then who do that already, they then say, thanks very much, good luck. But the great marketeers, like the great salespeople, say, just in case you are ready to buy now, we'll bring you to the money page. And the money page is about converting those who are ready to buy now. Those who aren't ready to buy now, we can populate into a series of emails, and we've chosen a 3-day email sequence here because the other marketing tactic you can use to maximize the sale is, if you say to somebody, this offer is open forever and you can buy anytime you want, what happens? People put it off, right? So this system is designed around the principle of show that it's time bound, that the offer is, and then you follow them up with 3 email sequences to say that this offer is ending. You better act quickly. Yeah. And then if your audience is big enough, you can retarget them with the same message on Facebook. So all of you, I guarantee you've seen this in action, but you may not have been aware of it, but that's what's going on. So there are certain rules with regards custom audiences and how they work and all that. And we're not going to go into that tonight, but I just want to flavor you to tell you what you can do. So this is also relevant for your existing clients that you have in your database. So you can send them out an offer, except instead of driving the traffic with your Facebook ad, you will drive the traffic with your email. And again, you'll bring them to your opt-in page and your money page of your offer. And you can also do these things too. Yeah? Okay. So don't get tied up that the traffic has to be generated from a Facebook ad. For existing clients, you replace the Facebook ad with your email. But these principles are exactly the same. Okay. And what I'm trying to do there is we're trying to automate the process and use the funnel, the marketing funnel, to weed out those who definitely aren't going to buy now and identify those who are ready to buy now. And then you pick up the phone to them. Those who say, I'm ready to buy now, then your call to action will probably be, if you're not going to do an online booking, is book your consultation time with me now. Yeah. And you're going to go through that process and bring them into your business. But it's far more effective. It's not far more effective. If you have time to lift up the phone to all those clients and cold call, that's fine, or even warm call if they're a past client. But this will allow you to systemize that a little bit, especially if you've a big database of past clients. Okay, just to give you some visual representation of what a funnel looks like. So this is Janine, has done this, launched this just prior to lockdown. But she had her free guide. So she identified that she's going to target clients who were coming up to their first birthday. She identified with them that one of the big fears of new mums is that their birthday won't be the perfect first birthday. So she came up with your free guide, 7 things to remember when planning your child's first birthday. So that's the ad that the client sees. They click on that. It brings them to the first landing page where they put in their details to get their name and address and all that. She builds some empathy and trust here by saying, I'm a mum too, I know what you're going through. She then after they download it, they're brought to the money page. So this is, if you are ready to buy now, well then buy. And this is all story branded out to deal with. There's a video here that she made herself, what the offer is, 100% satisfaction guarantee, why it's such an amazing offer, some testimonials, the plan. We talk about this in the website reviews, same for it. What is the plan of the process? Because we all presume that our clients know what the plan is. Behind the cake, a video showing the experience of the cake smash, and then book now. And they bring to an online booking form. She doesn't get them to pick the date and time because she wants to interact with the client to go through all that. But this can be simply, send me an email. It could be send me an email and let's chat and we'll have that consultation. Yeah. And then we go to the thank you. So this is designed to help maximize the 15% of the 50% who are ready to buy now. Those who come here and download the free guide, but don't go on to book, Janine then retargets. So she retargets them by sending a series of emails because she tells them that this offer is only available for a set amount of time. And when it's gone, it's gone. Yeah. So she retargets them over that week with a 3-day email sequence and then retargets them on Facebook too with the same message. And why do we do both of these things? I'm sure you've heard of the marketing multiplier. The marketing multiplier works on the principle that if you do one thing, you get X results. If you do 2 things, you don't get 2X, you get 3 or 4X. So that's why it's important that you do numerous things in your marketing, because the marketing multiplier says the more things you can do effectively, that you will actually get a multiplier of results by touching them more than once or in one area. So that's why. Okay, so that might all seem very, very complex. It's not that complex. In fact, some of you may already be in Business Success Academy, but we have a membership group which has a course all around this that we've provided for the first month for $9.99. It's about £7 if you're in the UK. I'll post a link to that if it's of interest to you, where we teach this. We've mentors in there, including Brad, who's a photographer. Janine is in the group as well, and we're there to help you. And Jonathan, the media buyer I talked about, is there too. When you get all this right, it's what I call a cherry on top. And this is, the cherry on top is when your clients start doing the marketing for you. And this all comes down to making sure that you're giving them value, that you're making them feel special, that they're delighted with the experience, they're delighted with the purchase they made, because you show them how important they are and the difference your work makes to them and their lives and their family. Just like the cake, and I always finish on every presentation I do to do this. So if we baked a cake and we didn't have a tin, what's likely to happen? There'll be a right mess, right? And I try and to explain to every photographer that if you're like me, a cake makes you smile, but nothing makes a human smile more than the work that you produce for them. And the tin for me represents 3 things. It represents the belief that you as the photographer have in what you do and the important difference it makes to society. It is the work you do, because the work you do transforms our society. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you just think about, we talked about the cake making people smile and makes me smile. What makes me smile even more is when I see the photographic art that photographers have created of my family. And a human being, when they smile, one thing happens. It releases, this is based on biology, it releases endorphins into the body. When those endorphins are released, guess what happens? When those endorphins get released, it reduces stress. When a person is less stressed, what happens? They're healthier in mind, body, and spirit. So while, and I couldn't do their job, but we have heroes at the moment in the front line saving people from COVID-19. And while we don't do the same job as them, we do have an important job as an industry, as photographers, to help our clients be healthier in mind, body, and spirit. And the one thing that's happening right now, and all the marketing research has shown it, is that families and couples are bonding closer together. And we as an industry can capture that for them. As Mary Fitz-Taylor says, we can freeze time and capture those important images. And those images that will be in their folio box or in their album or on their wall every single day are making those people feel more empowered, more proud of their families, have deeper relationships, and is creating a healthier body and mind, body, and spirit. So please never underestimate the important job you do for society as a photographer. So I promised I would share a couple of things with you. The first thing I need to share is I need to share a link to the website where you get the 2-page business success plan. So I'm going to do that now. So it's 3xmsolution.com/Ronan. And then I'm going to answer questions if there's some questions. So that should be the link for that. And I need to share the link to Business Success Academy for the sign up. So if you go to let me do the website. So go to this website and press the join now button. And that will make the whole course on how to do a funnel. Plus it will make the get you into the membership group for $9.99 for the first month, and after you're in there for a month you can decide whether you're going to stick with it or not. So that's the best I can do for you guys right now, but let's just see what questions you have and answer them. Here we go. Q&A. One question: am I the only one with audio problems? John, no you're not, and I apologize for that. I hope you picked it up when I fixed this and I fixed any of those. Has anyone more questions before we call it a wrap for today? If anyone, any questions, just put them in the chat, ask some questions. Happy to answer it. No? Thanks, Ron. I appreciate that. I did great. I hope there was something in there, Ron, that is of some help. And it's great to see you in Business Success Academy, Ron, because you're in there in the group and you're participating, and I hope you're learning too. So thank you for that. Any other questions from anybody? No? Okay. Well, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Please, please, please. We are going to bounce out of this as an industry. It's not going to be easy. It absolutely isn't going to be easy. But the businesses who plan and put a plan around it, work out their numbers, and recognize the important job we do as an industry and market effectively are those who are going to bounce out the quickest. I promise you that. I absolutely promise you that. So thank you so much. Does the Success Academy go into Pumpkin? Good question, Carl. So Carl, the short answer is yes and no. So Business Success Academy, in there are two pieces. There's one piece that is Ways to Go. And Ways to Go is the business success program that I developed out a couple of years ago. It's free for you to join. And in the idea, there's 10 modules. Photographers have described it like a mini MBA. We provide it free because we believe, not because it's no good, but we believe in both Business Success Academy and in 3XM Solution that the way to amplify the health of society, mind, body, and spirit is that photographers are armed with the business tools to create successful businesses, which means more wall art and folio boxes and albums in homes. So in the Pumpkin Plan, we deal with some of the principles in Ways to Go in the Ideal Client module. So if you go to Ways to Go, you can skip straight to the ideal client module, and it goes through that. Story brand. I've been having trouble getting to the modules. Could be my dyslexia. Okay, I'm not sure about that, Carl, as to what exactly that is, but I tell you what, if you go into businesssuccessacademy.io and you register, you will see ways to go free. If you have some trouble there, send me a messenger and I'll try and see what the issue is. But it's all laid out in a sequence, and you're looking for Pumpkin Plan. The ideal client module goes into Pumpkin Plan in some detail. Then for those of you who want to learn more about creating marketing funnels, then the offer is, you'll see a join button on the website, and for $9.99 converted, that's roughly €8, 7 quid or thereabouts, you get access to the full Funnel Mastery System, which is a course. If you do that course, we encourage you all to do it. Don't be put off by it because it's the most complex funnel you can build. But we encourage all of our members to do that. And then you'll also be invited into our closed group, which is a Facebook workplace group, where we have a community of people who are implementing it, and we run weekly webinars to walk through the process. And next week, next week's webinar in there for our members, we're actually going to start the process of implementing their first funnel to build their leads from new clients. So, and to give you an example, Brad is one of those mentors, and Brad already has a floating diary of 100 people booked in from his online marketing funnels. As I said, he creates 80% of his business and his bookings all the time using online marketing funnels. And they're the biggest spenders with him because he's in control of his marketing and he's generating his own leads rather than buying them from someone else. And he does both, but he gets absolutely higher sales, and we're going to need that, yeah, because we're going to have limited slots we can do between now when we come out of this, but we've got to get more money on the slots we do to try and recover some of the money we've lost. Okay, no more questions coming in. Okay, I'm going to say good night for tonight. We are back with the think tank next week. We'll be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll be publishing the over the weekend or first thing Monday morning what the agendas are, and we have some great speakers lined up. If you've missed any of them, they're all there in the units tab within the group. If you click on the units tab, you'll see them all, and I strongly recommend you, seeing as we're talking about marketing tonight as a key element, go back through all the marketing ones and the interviews that Mary Fitz-Taylor has done with 4 great marketing leaders of our industry already. She has had Alison Tyler-Jones, she has had Audrey Woolard, she has had Tim Walden, and she has had Steve Sopriato. So please, please go and have a look at those. They're an hour long each. Binge watch them. Forget Netflix. Just watch those 4 webinars and then combine it with what we've done tonight and join Business Success Academy. Do ways to go if there's a particular model you want to do, and you will fast track your business out of this recession. Ron, they're in the Facebook page, so the photography think tank page. If you click on the units tab, they're all in there. And Mary's interviews are under the sales and marketing tab, and you'll see them there. I think we've done about 20 of those videos so far, but you're looking for the ones that have Mary Fitz-Taylor interviewing Alison Tyler-Jones, Audrey Woolard, Tim Walden, and Steve Sopriato. Okay, good night, guys. Have a great weekend, and stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.